Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another BoP preview video. I'm your host, George V underscore AFC. And boys, it is the big one, the one. If anybody has seen George at a preview like last year with United and Spurs, we both know I have a certain disclaimer. I am not responsible for what I say. I'm allowed to be emotional here. This is the one time that you won't see many tactics from me, but it's the big one, guys. It is the United Arsenal preview. Corey, mate, how you doing?
Still buzzing off the win. Let's just try and get another one in the bag. I think this is one of the biggest games of the season. So I had because I was setting up this video and I was thinking, how do I title this? I don't want to jinx it. I kept saying a crucial win, a must win. I was like, no, don't put it like that because then you're definitely going to lose. So it was a tough one. But I'm nervous for this game because we should be winning it. But no, we should be winning it, and I really will emphasize we should be winning it. But it's a game of football. There's too many bozo moments that can happen. There's too many this and that can happen. And I just think that there's always a case. There's always a case for something to happen. But on reality, we should win this and win this quite comfortably.
So on this side of the reality spectrum, there's just no way that it's anything other than a positive result. I mean, if we're really going to go into it, United fans, they love to gas mid. They've been having a mid-off with their team, with their setup, and with their players for a while now. And when you actually look at this fixture and the head-to-head fixture, it's even worse reading when you go into the Emirates, and it's even worse reading when you go into Macau. Like, I mean, when they won, at Old Trafford, it was really the first time that, we've really, lost under Macau, but also conceded. So
yeah.
I don't get where the chest is. I legitimately, since Mikel Arteta has come in, it was the first time that's happened. So when United fans have chest about this fixture, it really boggles my mind. And let alone the Emirates. The Emirates has not been a happy hunting ground for them at all. And so I really don't get this idea that they're remotely confident. Even forget the form they're in, and that's a separate discussion. Okay, forget the fact that they've got injuries. That they have no Shaw, no Fred, no Pogba, and those are the three most important players. Period. End of story. And so when you actually start to get into the nitty gritty of what this tactical affair might show, I really don't understand why there's fear. It was the one game in this run when people were citing Manchester United as a tough fixture. I push back all the time. It's not a tough fixture, not in their form, not at the Emirates, and not with, the squad about what it is. United themselves, I've never seen a more flipping fan base. I've not seen a more flippant fan base bar ourselves.
This is the thing. This is the context. Ourselves we're just wedged mad.
At the very beginning, we're title challengers United. We've got Champions League Varane. Ronaldo's going to be the difference to give us a title charge. And you're fifth, probably going to end lower.
I think that's sixth now, aren't they?
They're sixth now. Yeah. But, this is a moving target current. And what we do on Saturday is the very first of three steps where we're going to knock out every single top four rival in this next span of fixtures. That's what we're doing. And when you look at it, I can't wait to get into tactics, but I really think that the Manchester United fan base needs to have a hard look at themselves because this is ridiculous. I'm hearing things that Eric Ten Hag's back, so now they're completely fixed, but we're gonna whitewash the entirety of their board decisions. We're gonna whitewash the fact that apparently they've got better players than us, but they can't have any consistency, and that their squad is unable to get the same amount of fixtures as us, and they want to focus on form with Arsenal, and yet their form themselves gets thrown out the window. I don't understand it. Did anybody catch the Norwich game?
Actually,
having the only worst team than Manchester United is Norwich, and they open them up like a hot knife through butter. And by the way,
and that was at Old Trafford as well.
Of course, and this is without now Fred, Shaw, and Pogba. At what point can they assess control? When can they offer control in this game? When it's not going to happen. Now, The only thing that you do have to be wary of with Manchester United, because it's the only weapon in their box, is a punt Hail Mary and a Rashford latch on to kind of a breakaway in transition. That's the only thing that you may have to worry about. But, we're hearing issues that, Maguire is going to be dropped. Stupidity. I think there's a whole discussion to go along with Maguire and kind of whether he's been treated properly. It's a witch hunt. Let's have that right. And of course, with the bombing, like no one wants to receive that level of abuse. But
No.
Maguire out of that team, I don't know why people are excited. Do you know what kind of set piece threat that they lose in defending set pieces? Our record on set pieces, and it's already a team that struggles in the air, and you're going to remove their one aerially dominant center back. Mate, don't even get me started about the stupidity that I'm hearing on the time on every facet of play that we're going to be looking at in this preview right now points towards a very positive Arsenal. So, yeah, mate. I'm looking forward to this. I'm actually looking forward to where people are confident that there's a potential banana slip, because I don't see it. You have Telles, you've got McTominay and Matic in the middle. You can bookmark a really bad McTominay challenge, and Matic I respect completely. I love Matic as a player and what he's done in the past, but the boy can't run anymore. His race is run. And Bruno in a 3, don't get me started. Portugal could tell you all about Bruno as an 8. Lovely, lovely. You love to see it. So, yeah, mate, I'm ready to get into this tactical stuff.
Yeah, I mean, before we get into it, I'm just going to say, look, we told you again and again that this team was shit. There's no balance in this team. You can add all the superstars that you want. It's still a shit team. You can add whatever legend you want as a manager. It's still a shit team. And you can fire that legend and it's still a shit team. It's been a shit team throughout the course of the season. And it's going to be a shit team tomorrow. There's no control, as George mentioned. The main thing that they lose with Maguire is that first phase progression. I know United fans go on about how he runs out and loses the ball, but the fact is you have no one doing that at the moment. I don't know who's going to. I mean, Lindelof is going to try and lift a ball over the top for Elanga or a Sancho, but I don't really see Varane being that sort of incredibly savvy ball progressor that people.
Well, can we speak honestly about Varane? Varane has horrible awareness. He's not been able to track runners in the box, and he hasn't been the same player technically either. We're not looking at the same Varane, so let's speak honestly about it. Okay, who's going to progress the ball out of the back? Fine, no one does. By the way, the one option that they always had was Pogba drop into the center backs and punt long. You
the 5-0-5.
The what?
The 5-0-5, basically.
Yes.
So basically the Pogba drop and everyone run, and then we try and hit someone in
Pogba
transition.
drop, and so what they're basically going to have is Bruno who's going to be doing that, and Bruno's going to be the only one that's able to do that. And at the end of the day, they're not the same team at all. And what kills me is they've got all the players there. They've got all the better players in the squad. They have better manager, better players. All that Manchester United needed was a competent coach. That's all I heard from people when Ole was sacked. All they needed. It's not the players. The players are fine. It's nothing's going to change. All we need is a competent manager. And Ralph Ragnick, by the way, is more than a competent manager. He is the godfather of what produced Klopp.
Gegenpressing.
And gegenpressing, and the godfather will take us to the promised land. Like, I've never seen more delusion except on the psych ward. So, it's,
even then, I'll tell you this. Even then, sometimes it won't be as good. And I will answer this. I do think, honestly, the only reason why I would say they are worse than now is because with Carrick, they had a competent mid block. They understood how they could position themselves to play in a good manner.
Can we speak honestly, Karen? They were playing better under Carrick. There was more fluid attacking football, and they were far more competitive.
Well, they had both Chelsea and us, and got 4 points out of that. Do you know how much they would kill for 4 points out of these two congruent fixtures under Ralph?
Mate, they don't have a competent block. They have not had a midfield block, and under Carrick they did. Whatever you want to say about Carrick, I believe that Carrick as a caretaker manager would have done better than Ralph Ragnick as a caretaker 100%. Manager. And
we both said this at the time. He was basically their Arteta. He was basically the one that, if you were going to hire a legend or an ex-player, he was the one who'd shown that he had the nous to actually take this team forward. And even if you wanted to hire Erik ten Hag in in the summer, you could at least got him Champions League football with under Carrick, I reckon, and
Mm.
that would have meant that he would have had a different platform, because they are having a lot of players released and a lot of players can come in, and if those players are Champions League quality, they could have maybe reloaded and gone again. But now it's just, I don't know where. I mean, sixth, seventh. I mean, it could be even be eighth. Like, I'll be real with you. I remember, I don't know if you saw it. CK posted about how their fixtures look. They could genuinely not get another point this season. Genuinely, it's like Chelsea after us, and then like Brighton, Palace, and someone else, and they're all like toughish fixtures. They finished with Palace, but like they have tough fixtures ahead. So let's not act like this is like, okay, we're just gonna come and roll in, and then if we lose, calm, we'll go again next week. It's just not gonna
Oh,
happen.
let's call it what it is. It is fans that do that have no cojones. They have zero cojones. They got no balls. They're sitting there making proclamations at the start of the season, kind of saying how that they're going to become a title challenger, then dropped out of Europe. Can you explain to me who has had a team that's had that kind of proclamation ever? That you're going to go from title challenging to drop out of Europe? Maybe Chelsea under Conte, but they kind of had 2 seasons to do that. And
George,
that's not even fair.
George, completely unrelated to everything, but literally, I think there's. I mean, I know it's not a United thing, but we can't. It's your judges come. It's not even close. Ornstein dropped. Calvert-Lewin amongst options for Arsenal with Jesus. So
look, we will do a transfer pod, but I am inevitable. Inevitability always applies, and I tried to tell people about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but don't worry, that will come as a separate one.
That will come as a thing, but I just wanted to tell you because I know what you're like. So, but yeah, that I mean, it's not someone random. It's Ornstein as well, so it'll be interesting. But anyway, back to the game, and I think we should get into the tactics of the things as it is it coming up. So as we did on the last stream, I've produced something here, and we've got basically our lineups that we think, and I discussed with George before the stream. So we've got Ramsdale, Gabriel, White, Tomiyasu, Elneny, Xhaka, Tavares, Odegaard, ESR, Saka, and Nketiah. And then De Gea, Varane, Lindelof, Telles, AWB, Matic, Bruno, McTominay, Elanga, Sancho, and Ronaldo. So I really feel like basically what they'll try and do is they'll try and have Wan-Bissaka come inside and Matic try and screen in that first phase and run their progression through Matic. And then Bruno will try and drop to basically hit runners. So Elanga
but
will
mate,
try
what
and
you're
run
doing is you're basically having a vacuum, because Sancho won't run like that because he's a ball to feet person. So you're going to have Sancho deep right next to McTominay, who's going to fill in, and you're going to have Ronaldo, who's going to stay up, by the way, and he's not going to track back. So you're going to put Ronaldo behind Odegaard, and that's what you're going to have. That's going to be the situation that is going to happen. And essentially, if Elanga is their only out ball as a runner, I think that they'll probably play Rashford for this very reason, by the way. So that's the only thing I can say is I think instead of Elanga, you're going to have a Rashford there. And it's just to provide some kind of running threat because, Ronaldo won't run for you. Sancho is ball to feet. And there's nobody else in that 11 that's a competent ball carrier that can get you through the thirds. So, it's getting to the point where you got to worry about how they're going to keep us out, essentially. And I think they're just going to hope for a Ronaldo-Rashford difference. And they're going to rely on Bruno and Sancho to do the ball carrying work, essentially. But looking at, I think, Arsenal, when you try to kind of change up the tactics here.
This is why I feel like their block will look like Matic will try and drop and provide cover. And McTominay will just be on his own, and Bruno won't track back. Neither will Ronaldo. And there'll be this massive space, which is why I feel Emile should be in that space there. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think I think that's probably the best bet that you can have really. But I think that what you're going to find is when we settle kind of in possession, especially with Tomiyasu, we're going to have that 2-3-5. We're going to step up. Eddie's going to be in the box. We're going to have Bukayo wide, I think Martin's going to be in the half space down there. He'll be flirting between the lines, in between Lindelof. I think Nketiah will be on Matic, and ESR will kind of run in behind. He'll try to get in behind the space between Varane and Matic. That's where I think we're basically going to see. And really for me is I think you probably just have to put current mate like the two center backs high up in the pitch. Bukayo Saka up there, and Tomiyasu will basically control Sancho. That's what we're essentially looking for. And when you analyze the reverse fixture too, by the way, extremely lucky, but on both teams. I think both teams were poor. Both teams didn't control the game. It was a moment's game, and it turned into a passion merchant game. So you score one, I'll score one. You make a mistake, I'll make a mistake. I think Arsenal and United both respectively had one good worked goal, but everything else was actionable moments that turned the tide. And look, is that possible in this fixture? Absolutely. It's Manchester United. It's a big game. I'm going big. It's emotional. It's an emotional game. But the difference, the Emirates is the difference here. And our home support and also our fortress, how we've performed at home has been unbelievable. And following a Chelsea win where, we just went over our rivals away, absolutely immense. And when you're talking about why Elneny over Sambi, it's kind of for the very same reason that we've started with Stamford Bridge is we're looking at transitions and we need experience in those defending transitions. Sambi has a propensity to kind of get drawn out wide. And that's something that we can't do. We need to be compact centrally and we need to win those second balls. So I'm more looking for it off the ball because for me, we have enough on it, especially with Tomiyasu back, by the way, that there shouldn't be an issue, particularly in build-up. And even when we're in our settled third, we have enough progressive passers there. What we need is kind of the off the ball and the second balls. And I want Elneny and Xhaka close together. In fact, I wasn't quite on the Chelsea review. Things didn't work out. But if you saw the distances, the average distance between the two, they were no more than 5 or 10 yards apart all game. And that is what gave us the platform to really express ourselves. And people that had poor performances like Odegaard recently had great performances at Chelsea, especially from the 25th minute down to like the 50th minute. He was immense at Chelsea, and it's because you give him the platform to succeed. It's really as simple as that. And when you look at it, by the way, I think our left-hand side is going to be the side that we really pick on because both Varane and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are really awful defending off the ball runners. And I think Tavares and ESR's interchange is going to kind of run havoc on that side. And it's going to be a case of by how much Arsenal win by. That it really is going to go beyond the case. And unless something like a red card happens, unless something, absolutely crazy happens, one of us takes somebody out of the game, a VAR moment, a moment in transition, and, there's a controversy. I don't see a way that United realistically could get in this game. Like I said, it's basically Rashford going long because even Ronaldo doesn't have the legs to pull this defense left. If you really look at it, so even if Ronaldo was to pull left, like you're going against White and Tomiyasu again, and Tomiyasu is coming back from injury, so there's a little bit of asterisk laid there. But again, he's the exact kind of person that you want in the half space defending an aerial ball, and Gabriel is another dominant aerial person that you want kind of defending a high line there. And one thing that I think we will see, by the way, is White have a very good game, who struggled in the last couple of matches.
And I think he was nursing a knee injury, but
well, we've said that before, right? Like he's definitely injured and he's nursing something, but also he has a lot of responsibility, right? Like he's having to defend for Holding while also progressing for the both of them. So there's a lot of people that are going to return into the positions that they're comfortable with, and mate, that's been my mantra. You keep players in zones and areas of the pitch that they're comfortable in, and boom, they thrive. And so I think that this game couldn't be better. De Gea can't hit a barn door if he tried. So their buildup is going to be non-existent.
There's not going to be knockdowns from Ronaldo. Let's put it that way.
Attempted knockdowns because Ronaldo can't jump anymore either. Like I don't want to hammer a legend of the game, but he's just not the guy anymore. And look, as much as United is a fixture that he can get up for, what's happened for him. Credit to him for coming back. Like he's a crazy professional, but there's no way you're in the right headspace, mate. Like you can talk about passion and all this, but when something like that happens to your family, like 2 days ago, you're not in the right headspace, and you shouldn't expect someone to be. So what are you going to rely on Rashford then to be clinical lately? Yeah, I just
I don't know, man. It sounds bad. And just before we do move on, I just want to. There's a couple of things just want to highlight. I just reckon the main thing for me is I think this ball is on. This ball from Xhaka to Saka across the pitch and isolating Saka one-on-one with Tellez for that cross into the box for Nketiah.
I actually think it's the opposite, mate. I honestly think it's the opposite.
I think no, but the reason why I will say this is because I feel like we used it so well against Chelsea, and I don't think Tellez is. I don't think he's fit, to be honest. I mean, there's no reason why he would have been benched otherwise. I think he's not fit. And with Wan-Bissaka, even if they go, for example, because they tried Wan-Bissaka left back as well. I think whichever side Wan-Bissaka is on will be the side we target. I feel like he gets caught with his on-ball defending enough so much is that he worries about his positioning, and it could either be this, or for either Xhaka El Neni Tavares triangle. That could be so crucial.
That's the triangle, mate. Xhaka is going to pump balls in between Varane and Wan-Bissaka, as well as in between Matic and Varane, and you're going to have Tavares and ESR kind of alternating who's going to take their picking of the running. That's what's going to happen for me. And also later in the game, I see a sub Martinelli doing that and spamming that cross with a Saka back post. These are things. Now, one thing that we haven't quite touched on, and which is ridiculous, no Maguire is huge because of set pieces, guys. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but guys, this team is very poor aerially. It's basically McTominay that's left to be the aerial presence now defending set pieces, and they are awful on set pieces, and we are great on set pieces. Now, I think recently with our run of form, that has dipped along with the team, right? Like both the team hasn't been good, but our set pieces haven't been great. However, this is going to be a period where I think we rinse set pieces. I think Gabriel, who's had 2 strong games, our best defender in the last 2 games, is going to get a goal. Like, I think off a corner piece, you can kind of bookmark it for me. It's so bait, but Gabriel's going to be a threat offensively and defensively on set pieces. And I think Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, by the way, we haven't quite talked about this too, Curran, mate. Like, they are the first under 21 homegrown pair, and not even homegrown, but under 21 pair in the Prem to have got more than 10 goals this season since Rooney and Ronaldo. That is that. Like, the biggest frustration I've got is when people, not just people in the comments, but people on Twitter are basically saying that it's a young team. I don't know if they have the goals to kind of fire us to our objectives. Hogwash, they have done it. And in fact, it's not even just their most impressive individual seasons. This stuff stacks up against, Prem history metrics. The last time that this happened was basically Rooney and Ronaldo. Like, it's absolutely immense, Curran. Like, I don't understand it. And, to have got 10 Premier League goals at this point in the season, massive. Bukayo getting that penalty at Chelsea, it didn't have a matter on the result. But when you do look at it, it was huge for his confidence, but also the torch passing. I kind of did this in a lot of group chats. I said that, Bukayo is taking Oba's place, not by being asked to, but forcibly. This is him actually stepping up. Now, do I think it was a great penalty? No. Do I think it was very convincing? No. Was I worried about it? Yes. But the fact that you just saw how he celebrated, mate, and for him, what it does from a self-confidence perspective, because that's the only thing Bukayo Saka, by the way, is missing. He has got everything in his locker. The boy is mustard. He's got so much in his locker, but really the self-belief is something that he really needs to take into account. He needs to be aggressive and clinical on that last aspect. And I think him getting that penalty is going to do him the world of good.
Yeah, I agree. And the main thing for me is with Bukayo is, and a lot of the forwards we have, with Emile, with Eddie, even with Ødegaard, just to get that first goal, you could see how much it meant to them. And they just went on, and everything just kind of relaxed, and things kind of went into automations. You could see that things were starting to get back to normal. The problem I have is that I just want a good home performance. I think with which
elaborate, Burraz, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. I gotta, but go on.
Basically, what I was saying is the main thing is I just want to get some home form back into the thing. I think we kind of stumbled and we need to get back into it. So yeah, Boris, tell me what's the bullshit. So we need to figure out. And the main thing for me is there's so much space in this 4-3-3. It's not coached well. There's no ability in transition. It's not even about physicality. They just don't care enough to run back in transition into a block, and it's just sad.
Well, there's two problems, current mate. Like, look, they don't run, they don't follow their instructions, so their block is not compact. We know this, and so we're gonna run havoc kind of in that midfield area. But that's what's been happening kind of all season for United. But kind of the worst thing is, mate, they don't have reliable ball carrying progressors. And when you take out Maguire and you take out these players that are the very few ball carrying progressors, it's a case of, well, who's going to give them the ball? So not only do they not run back, which is really poor in transitions, but who's going to give them the control on the pitch? Who's going to, okay, perfect. Yeah, I agree. Like it is kind of hogwash, and I just don't understand. Like these youngsters not only can fire us to top four, but they will be firing us to top four. And when you go and you look at it, mate, I really think that this team needed a bump, a jolt. And they got that during Chelsea. And have somebody like Tomiyasu return just gives confidence to everybody in the front line. So this little endeavor that we were seeing from everybody at Chelsea is just going to be maximized when they know that they've got somebody at the back that they can trust, by the way. And Tavares is going to be a lot high and wide. This is the one thing that we didn't get a chance to really touch on because I wasn't there in the review, but I hope was touched on was the fact that,
it was.
Somebody like an inverted right back like White, what it allows is Tavares to get out of the buildup. It is absolutely huge, and he is great high and wide, wreaking havoc in the final third. There's no problem with him doing that. And when you've got Eddie Nketiah, by the way, who's a willing presser, buoyed by the 2 goals, you best believe he's putting pressure on De Glood. You best believe he's putting pressure on Matic and Lindelof.
I think that the perfect way to illustrate that is just from the very first moment of the Chelsea game. I mean,
yeah,
this is literally the social media sites are just getting loaded up, and you could see Eddie on Mendy straight away. Literally the first action of the game.
But mate, you can see this very easily if you just put that back up again. It's literally going to happen with De Gea. You're going to see Lindelof in the back there, and you're going to see Matic as one of the 2 deep, and the other one's going to be Varane. Like you're going to see this so often. And for me, those are players that need space. They cannot play without a press, and they really do poorly against a press. So yeah, mate, like right off the jump, we need to be aggressive. We're going to be buoyed by the support who are going to be totally up for it. And I think for me, what I'd love to see is a press quick off the front and kill the game in the first half. It is essentially how I really want to see this game going. But how about you, mate? And maybe some final thoughts. And everybody in the comments, you let us know your final thoughts. So, and like I said, I'm not responsible for what I say during United and Spurs previews. So I'm sorry if it's not as tactical as you like.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Lacazette, he's already a player who gasses already, and with COVID, I don't really see him having a massive chance of starting. I feel like it will take him a while to get his legs back in terms of COVID. I mean, even Mikel admitted midweek that he was only available for a couple of minutes, and I'd be surprised to see him start. But yeah, this is so true. We need to be aggressive. I really feel like this will be a real showcase for our players. I don't feel like I'm going to take this off now. I don't feel like this is a massive sort of it's a massive test for us, but I don't think it will be a test that we'll find too hard. I mean, I say that knowing what happened last time we went to Old Trafford, but like it's very much we have our confidence back from that Chelsea game. We have the ability to move forward, and with confidence at home, this team has all the tools to dismantle this Man United side. The space in behind, and I'm telling you, watch for Mata or Lingard to come on, and when you have them 2 running, it's just. I mean, Lingard's not fit. He's a good player. He showed what he could do at West Ham, but he's not fit enough, and neither is Mata. I mean, Mata is just old now. So if they come on, it's just not going to be pretty. We lost last time because, what happened is we got sloppy. We the Ødegaard penalty. I feel like the Sancho assist for Ronaldo was very good. I think there was a couple of goals that we let go, and we didn't take enough of our chances. We should have scored at least a couple more in that game. So yeah, I don't feel like it was a case where they were better than us. I feel like we put the mistakes on them, and Ødegaard giving away that penalty, everyone's heads kind of dropped a little bit, and we just let them get in there. I agree with this totally. Home sport will be a massive factor. Eddie will be buoyant, and I think he's someone that's going to be looking for his next deal now for whoever he signs for. I said on Twitter, it feels like he was replicating the signed a Ting Theo vibes, when he was playing for his contract, and he just was going for it. So, and this is a good point as well. They might come with more fight. I mean, because the thing is, when you have a wounded beast like United Star right now, they could come out all guns blazing and try and do something. But the question is do they have the capabilities to do something properly?
I don't know. Like the occasion will have them up for it. How can it not? Like that's the case with anybody in poor form. I mean, look, we were the case in point against with Unai Emery, and we were the case in point even with Mikel. By the way, we faced United both times on huge loss periods, and we turned it around, right? But the difference that I've got with them and us is that this has been going on for a while at United, and they don't have a feasible option to get them out. They don't have a spark that's been able to change the way that they're playing. And we not only would have to be extremely poor, but we would need a red card at this point to not have a chance of winning. Even when we faced them back in December, we had Granit Xhaka, who wasn't fit. Like, we have him back in, and we have no Thomas Partey. Back then we did have, but the dynamic kind of in the club was very, very different. The mindset about it. Really, what you need to ask yourself is, how many goals do you see in this United team, and how many goals do you see in this Arsenal team? How much control do you see in this United team, and how much control do you see in the Arsenal team, and which one will win? People will argue that United have more goals than Arsenal, and that Arsenal will have more control than United. Typically, when you predict these things in over 90 minutes, it's really quite easy to see who's going to offer the more control. So I put my bet on Arsenal, and I think again we do exactly what we have to do here. I mean, Ralph will go for a long ball in transition. I've said it the entire time. Like they're hoping Ronaldo Rashford is going to escape what they can do, because they don't have the players on the ball to get them up the pitch. So that is legitimately the only threat that they have. They've taken away a big goal set piece threat with Harry Maguire. So that's literally their only passage of play. And current mate, when you do that, it is very easy to essentially to play against and create a block against. It's not that hard. Now, the one thing that I'll kind of agree maybe with some people is our block hasn't been compact in the last couple of games. That is very a valid criticism of this Arsenal team lately. Now, I think United will let us have a block that is, even if it is less compact, it'll be fine. But I do want that change from Mikel. So I hope that with Tomiyasu coming back, people feel a little bit more comfortable to kind of shorten the distances a bit, because I want a lot more control. And again, a big part of this home support is the technical security. So back at Chelsea, the reason that, this block was poor and that things were poor was how poor were we in the first 20 minutes? Technically, It was awful. These players are completely different at the Emirates, right? So improve your technique, your block improves. Like they're kind of tied hand in hand. So yeah, mate, for me, I legitimately don't see an option. Gung-ho aside, even the tactical hat on me, I see zero option of a United win. It's just not on my thought process. But yeah, mate, like I think we need to and like I said, we're going to go on a row of killing all of our top four rivals. And what's that meme that of
you mean the one with the
Grim Reaper?
Yeah,
we're going to go to each door. Yeah, let's paint a door of United. They're first off the block, and then West Ham are going to be next, and then when we go to Spurs, that's going to be next. So yeah, I think that's it. Look, mate, for me, very different strikers. I've always said that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to be the likely Mikel Arteta choice for Arsenal, and he fits the team a lot more than people think than a Tony. Tony, I like quite a bit. I think they're both going to be in the same price bracket, but they're a very different type of link-up player. Tony's a turn-face play kind of player with, a final ball. Whereas Dominic Calvert-Lewin is that 1-2 touch, drop deep and explode into space. He's a lot more aligned in the Tammy Abraham and Vlahovic profile. So, but don't worry, we're gonna do like transfer specials. I know everybody wants to do transfers. We got questions about Gabriel Jesus along with that. Again, a nice attacking depth. I don't think he has the efficiency, nor is he going to be the center forward for us for 2 or 3 years. He still struggles back to goal. So for me, it would depend on the price that you're able to secure a Gabby Jesus. But yeah, mate, like I don't want to do too many transfers. In terms of who I think starts, are you a favor of, a Lacazette start, or do you think he does just because he's stubborn? I think there's no way because of what Eddie's done and his comments on Eddie.
His fitness as well.
Yeah. No, it's true. Like, look, his fitness is, a question mark, absolutely. But I think you cannot go into this type of game without movement and without energy, right? And at the very thing is, I think Mikel is stubborn. You kind of said it, mate, where he's not going to change a winning formula. And so the only thing is going to improve positions that he won with. That's kind of who Mikel is, right? So for me, it's like, okay, can I improve on White? Of course, Tommy Yasuke comes there because you can improve on holding. So that's a change I think we can expect to see. But other than that, the way the front three played, you're not going to disturb that whatsoever. So I think that's kind of the lineup. Should we go into predictions, and maybe everybody in the comments, you guys let us know your kind of last little predictions for the game. But we'll go to you, Kern, mate.
Before we do, I mean, CK, what did CK predict? He predicted, I think, 4-1. I think he predicted, if I'm not mistaken.
He predicted 4-1.
Yeah, and you can go next, mate.
Look, I've talked all this shit, and it's because I believe it. And I had a really funny tweet where people were doing combined 11s, and Haas, who's one of our good friends, is like, I'm afraid of putting kind of more Arsenal players. I only have 3 United players, and honestly, game's the game, mate. Like, and once they're not shit, no worries. They can be in the starting 11, but until then, not a chance. So for me, it's going to be a big 3-0. I think we get a clean sheet. I think we get a landmark victory. And the only reason that I don't think it's more, and I would love for it to be more, is that we're just a team that kind of stops at 3-0, even in our big, huge wins. You think Chelsea, past United performances, that, we've really blitzed them from the start. Once we go 3-0, we kind of take our foot off the pedal. I would love nothing more for it to be worse and to get revenge for the 8-2, but I just don't see it. I think that we get a clean sheet, and I definitely think that there's 3.
I mean, for me, I do think it gets worse. I think it's 4-0. I think with the confidence that we're seeing from this team, and this United team tends to crumble. This is very much a case where you don't have a United team that we're up for the fight when they go down. When they go down, they just stay down. And if it gets nasty, the only way I can see something happening is Ronaldo returning to Emirates. Everyone thinks he's going to be doing some craziness. If he does something, then maybe they can get a goal in some sort of crazy individual brilliance moment. But for me, the main thing is it's easy to be bullish in this game. I don't think it's delusional or sadistic or anything, whatever it is you want to say that we should win this game quite convincingly. And I do think 4 is a good marker. I don't really see them getting a goal. I think a clean sheet is on the cards. I do agree with you. I don't see them being a threat from set pieces. I don't see them a threat in transition, because if we do have that 3-2 block, it will be fairly curtains for them, and we have the players to match them in transition. So I think 4 for me. I think 4-0 is a place to end.
Yeah, I think I would love that. I mean, help out our goal difference, you know what I mean? But I mean, for me, I think you can book a Gabriel set piece goal, or a set piece goal for us. Like that, you can absolutely book in for me. And then Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, the boys, the chant, it says it all. I think that they come up with the goods to make it 3-0. So for me, we've gone big. You guys let us know in the comments, what you guys think about the game. Again, I'm not responsible for what I say for United and Spurs. That's the one thing that I cannot come here to be tactical with you. So don't worry, we're going to be crushing them. And I hope for us to kind of return with a really great review for you guys afterwards, with a big 3-0 so I can get my predictions on point. But guys, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. You hit that bell for notification so that you do know when we do upload next. We've got content coming for you. Of course, we've got this review. We got some new things coming up in the next couple of weeks that we're definitely going to be exploring. And I hope that you guys stick around for the ride. If you do, you can become a member by clicking the member or join button, I believe, next to the subscribe.
Join.
And Current Mate, where can they find you?
They can find me at Current BoP. They can find Willow at the one Willow, and they can find CK at CK Football FTBL. Follow the Twitter at BoP Footy. Follow the TikTok at Ball Over Passion. Follow the Instagram at Ball Over Passion, and the Twitter is BoP Footy once again. George,
absolutely. And you can find me at GeorgeV_AFC. And yeah, BoP wishes you guys a wonderful weekend, and a little shout out to all those Greeks. Happy Greek Easter for those that are celebrating. But I hope to be back with a cheeky 3-0 victory. And we'll see all those United tears. And one thing that we can all agree on, despite the predictions, is we will be drinking United tears. I hope you guys can enjoy in the comments. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you now.
Bye.